As things in the Sendai Colony begin to be ended soon, it's been very fun to read and review this part of the arc. Although me personally, ever since the Colony game started, I couldn't wait to get to Tokyo Colony number 2, simply because I've been very interested in Hakari. He's the one student left who we don't know what his technique is, or really his real fighting style, because the Isidori confrontation was more so just Hakari punching him and ragdolling him, but we know his ideals, that being fever and gambling, and his personality is very eccentric, still charismatic and very cool. And then there's Kashimo, the presumed strongest in the Culling game, who had 200 points until he used 100 of them to add to the rule change of displaying all info onto players. Not to mention he wants to find Sukuna and possibly take him out. Let's get into what I think could possibly happen when these two finally meet. Start with Kashimo. There's been a theory going around that Kashimo's technique or ability could revolve around electricity, which I'd be all for. And after looking at the character design a little bit more and doing some little research, I found there's a high chance Kashimo definitely is going to have some sort of electricity manipulation just off his design. The first thing I noticed was his pigtail hairstyle and the buns of his pigtails, and they kind of reminded me of something of like a conductor, wire, and insulators. There's a specific term that I just honestly cannot remember or find at this time for the life of me. But if you ever did the positive and negative wiring in school or experiments, that's what that is basically. Then by his eyes, it looks like he has some sort of lightning bolt strings by his eyes, and his staff like weapon, which I'm not taking credit for this one because I saw some folks point it out on Twitter when the chapter dropped when he made his debut. But the Raijin, god of thunder, has a similar staff design in folklore that he's depicted. So there's a lot that can lead you to believe that Kashimo is going to be an electric or thunder based manipulator. And I think whatever it is he can actually do, the damage and impact is immense. Considering the guy he killed in the panel he's introduced in, not only did he get a big hole put in his body, but a giant shockwave was left on the brick wall behind him. So whatever it is Kashimo is revealed to have, he's definitely incredibly strong. Now for Hakari, we all seen a glimpse of Hakari's style in battle regarding his cursed energy. It's been described as rough or edgy. When hit by Hakari, Yuji describes it as no matter how much or how little strength he puts behind it, it feels like getting hit by a serrated bat. So obviously Hakari hits hard as hell. I'd imagine he's around total level in physical strength right now, and I'm pretty confident he could take a hit as well, as when Yuji headbutted him, Hakari stared at him as if nothing was happening. So in close range combat, Hakari seems very strong and a very strong adversary. I'd imagine when facing tough opponents, Hakari coats himself in his curse energy. It just goes for an all-out brawl type of style. Now as for his technique, once again, we just don't know. So this is my speculation, and once again, my speculation. So this is probably going to be all types of wrong. But as he summons these subway door looking things, or some call them tatami mats, either way, when he summons them, it seems as if there's a gimmick to it. My prediction is that Hakari's gambling is reflected through his technique as well. I'm thinking of something like a Moxie effect. The best way I can describe this is if you ever play Pokemon, the Pokemon stat Moxie, that ability, the more Hakari feels the fever, the greater damage his doors will do. Or in another case, if his gambling streak per se is so on fire, he could even have a decapitation rule in place, similar to how it looked when Yuji was in a guillotine-like state with Hakari's doors. That's just my quick idea as to what it could be, but I'm probably completely wrong. There's no knowing, especially with Gege. He can come up with something completely different. There's probably like a whole ritual to it or whatever, but I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be fire and something we haven't seen before in this series. As the higher ups don't like someone like Hakari because his technique is so advanced and it's so different compared to the original style of Jujutsu. Now, what am I expecting in this battle between these two? I'm expecting a Kashimo style backstory, or at least a reasoning for why he's been hunting down Sukuna for 400 years. Now, I'm imagining it's probably something so easy to think of. Like, he wants a challenge. Maybe he seen or heard of Sukuna, or he just never got to fight Sukuna and he believes he's the strongest sorcerer walking and he just wants to test his strength. It could be something like that, because the way Kashimo's kind of presented, he came off as a warrior, like he's made to fight. He doesn't seem like someone in his introduction like he has these crazy idealistic goals or ambitions or contradictions in his life. He doesn't seem like that. He seems like a just warrior based character. And then I'm expecting more explanation or more exploration on Hakari's time in Tokyo Jujutsu High, because I kind of want to see how he was when he was in there. I know they did give like a small little panel of saying, you know, Hakari was actually a really cool guy back in Jujutsu High. Like he was kind of like a guy you can kind of lean on type of dude. But I kind of just want to see how he was, you know, who did he interact with the most, just like that little stuff, you know. Like I don't want like a whole chapter per se. Now if we do get that, that'd be cool, but like, you know, maybe a couple panels just like going further into like who Hakari really is as a person, underneath like the whole charismatic, you know, suave, I got the whole mink coat type dude. I kind of want to see that, because that's basically what Karara said about him back when they were in that little parking lot block that they were on. And I'm also expecting, obviously, Panda to be surveying this battle. I wouldn't be surprised if Panda actually becomes kind of like the narrator, because we know Panda is with Hakari right now, being a survey. He's literally, his job is to look for Kashimo. So I'm expecting Panda to kind of be like the narrator for this. He might get into the action, but I kind of don't want him to. But maybe Panda will get something, you know, maybe he'll get like a little fight or something. You never know. Then I'm expecting Hakari and Kashimo to obviously push each other. They're gonna have like I said, this is going to be a crazy fight. They're gonna have intense battles. I'm expecting blood. Hopefully it's back and forth. I'm expecting Hakari to reveal his technique fully as to what the heck it is. I think that's definitely going to happen in this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a domain expansion, most likely coming from Kashimo. Something similar to what they said the old school domains were. They weren't one-hit KOs like the current generation, but I kind of want to see if Kashimo does have one, what would his be? Because domains back in their day were kind of more so like an accessory. They weren't something you use, obviously, like they said, for like guarantee it's over. This is something to assist you. So I want to see if he has something like that. I also want to see how will Hakari fight Kashimo, who uses clearly a staff to fight. Like, was he going to fight barehanded against him? That's going to be interesting to see. Once again, maybe what I said about him coding himself in Curse Energy kind of blocks off weapons being used against him. Another idea is that Kashimo could possibly store power. A lot of electricity, you think of storing power and it bursting out when you need it. Maybe he could do that. Then because especially with the impact in the wall, that seemed like something that he just charged up and just bang right across the wall. There's a lot of possibilities. And I'm also expecting at the end of this fight, or kind of during the middle, I think Kashimo will actually respect Hakari as a fighter. While Hakari could respect Kashimo's gamble of wanting to fight someone like Sukuna, who could probably kill Kashimo very easily. So if those two somehow have like a mutual respect for one another, I think that'd be pretty fire. And once again, my last prediction, this is gonna be the best fight in all of the colonies. Unless this is a squash or something like that, this is going to be the best fight in all of the colonies. I love Yuta. I love the stuff he's doing right now. Ishigari is cool. Takako is cool. But this is the fight I've been waiting for. So if it's what we all think it's going to be, this is going to be easily the best fight in the entire Culling Game saga when it comes to the colony and the rules part of this. I'm just waiting, man. I probably want to get some like crazy spreads and all that. And the last thing I want to throw out there real quick, there's something huge could happen at the end of this fight. What? I only really have one idea, and that's Maki pulling up because she is supposed to meet with Panda. But I have a video all about Maki being in the Culling Games. I'll put it either in the description or at the top of this video somewhere. But check that out if you want to know my thoughts on Maki and the Culling Games. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts and predictions on what I could see happening with Hakari versus Kashimo. I can't wait. I feel like this fight has potential to be one of the best in the series, to be honest, from a spectacle standpoint. But maybe I'm putting too much in there and it could be something that's completely different. But hey, I'm excited. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Are you looking excited to this just as much as I am? And what do you guys think could happen in this fight down in this comment section down below? Also, hit me with a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more JJK content as well as other anime content as well. I'll highlight you on the next one. Peace.